The storm of trouble didn't begin with thunder. It began with silence. A silence so deep, so wrong that it made the hardened biker President Rowan Maddox freeze in place as he stared at his ringing phone lying abandoned on the diner counter. His daughter, 16-year-old Arya, who never went anywhere without texting him at least once an hour, had gone missing. Her backpack was found tossed near an alley, and the security camera showed her being pulled into a van by a man whose face Rowan swore he would never forget. In that moment, as he stood under the harsh midday sun pouring through the diner windows, Rowan felt something inside him snap. Not with rage, but with terror. The kind of terror only a father knows. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for what's right, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. It truly helps keep stories like this alive. Rowan Maddox was no ordinary father. He was the president of the Iron Reapers Motorcycle Club, a group feared on the highways, but deeply respected in their community for protecting the vulnerable. Despite his intimidating tattoos and battle-worn leather vest, Rowan was known for his compassion, especially when it came to his only child. Arya had been the bright thread weaving hope into his rough life. She loved photography, stray dogs, and riding on the back of her father's bike during early morning sunrises. She softened him, she changed him, and now she was gone. The kidnapper's name surfaced within an hour: a drug dealer named Kieran Vale, a small-time menace with a dangerous streak. He had recently been chased out of the Iron Reapers' territory for selling to minors, and Rowan had personally warned him never to return. But vengeance comes in many shapes, and Kieran found the one way to strike Rowan where it hurt most. He kidnapped Arya in broad daylight. The sun was high, filtering through the clouds and casting long shadows across the abandoned industrial district as Rowan and his men prepared for what lay ahead. Their boots echoed against the concrete ground, their leather vests creaking as they moved with purpose. Rowan's heart pounded loudly in his ears, but on the outside he was stone, a silent storm waiting to break. Every step he took carried the weight of his guilt. He had been so busy protecting the town, he forgot that danger could strike from the shadows closest to home. As they approached the warehouse where Kieran was hiding, Rowan's thoughts spiraled. He remembered holding Arya when she was born, a tiny bundle with a soft cry that melted his hardened heart. He remembered teaching her how to ride her first bike, not a motorcycle, but a little pink bicycle with streamers on the handlebars. He remembered the way she laughed, the way she told him he wasn't as scary as people thought. She was his anchor, his reason to walk away from violence. Now that very violence was being forced back into his hands. Inside the warehouse, the sun streamed through broken windows, illuminating floating dust and golden beams that cut across the room like prison bars. Kieran stood at the center with a smirk on his bruised face, his arrogance barely masking the fear in his eyes. He had tied Arya to a wooden chair, but her face held no fear, only exhaustion and the desperate hope that her father had finally arrived. Her hair was messed, tears dried on her cheeks. But when she saw Rowan, something inside her lit up. The sight nearly brought Rowan to his knees. He approached Kieran with a controlled rage, each step heavy with unspoken promises. Behind him, the Iron Reapers formed a silent wall of intimidating loyalty. Rowan's voice was calm, even gentle, but it carried a weight that made Kieran's confidence crumble. He demanded Arya's release, but Kieran, shaking with the realization of what he had done, tried to bargain, his voice stuttering. He had hoped to use Arya as leverage, but standing face to face with Rowan Maddox was something he had not prepared for. Arya watched as her father stepped closer, his eyes reflecting both fury and heartbreak. The sunlight revealed the tears he fought to hold back. Rowan wasn't a perfect man. His past was messy, his knuckles scarred, his temper fierce. But his love for Arya was pure and unwavering. In that moment, she realized he had always been her protector, even when she had pushed him away during teenage arguments. Rowan freed his daughter with steady hands, brushing her hair away from her face as he whispered that she was safe. She collapsed into his arms, shaking, and he held her tightly, the relief washing through him like a cleansing wave. The daylight pouring into the warehouse made the moment feel almost holy. A father reunited with his child under beams of gold. The club members handled Kieran, ensuring he would never harm anyone again. But Rowan didn't watch. His focus was solely on Arya, guiding her outside the warehouse into the warm afternoon air. The sunlight kissed her face, and she closed her eyes, breathing in freedom as if it were the first time. Rowan crouched before her, brushing dirt from her hands, apologizing through trembling breaths. Arya placed her hand on his cheek and told him it wasn't his fault. For the first time in a long while, Rowan let himself feel the fear, the relief, the overwhelming gratitude that his daughter was alive. As they stood by the motorcycles, the world felt strangely quiet. Arya leaned into her father's side, and Rowan wrapped an arm around her, holding on as if letting go might make her disappear. The other bikers watched with softened expressions, the camaraderie and loyalty among them stronger than words. They had shown up for Rowan, not because he was their president, but because he was their brother, because Arya was family. The bright afternoon sun cast a warm glow over them, turning their leather vests into silhouettes against the light. Rowan helped Arya onto his bike, adjusting her helmet with gentle hands. As the engine roared to life, she wrapped her arms around him, resting her head against his back. It felt like coming home. What the bikers did that day wasn't about revenge. It was about love, loyalty, and protecting the innocent. They didn't just rescue a girl. They reminded Rowan that even the toughest men need someone to fight for. And sometimes the world is saved not by angels, but by people who refuse to let darkness win. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support truly means the world. Before we end, comment below. Family is everything.